All right, so we are here with round two of the States Chess Cup. I am here with Florida team captain Matthew from Palm Beach Chess, and we are going to be dual commentating this match between Alabama and Florida. Matthew, you want to just give yourself a little introduction?
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me here on the stream. It's great to dual commentate. My name is Matthew Colt. I am the secretary of the Florida Chess Association and also an employee of Brian Tillis, one of the players on the team. And I'm happy to be here to give as great commentary as I possibly can.
All right. Well, we've got some very strong players today here on, we'll call this board one. We're going to be looking at the games from the Alabama perspective, at least for the moment, just because that's how I have everything set up. We have National Master Yuri against their fourth board, Xavier. And here we can see they are well into their first game. Black somehow has a pawn on b2. So I'm not sure how that pawn got there. Maybe we need to rewind and take a look.
Probably. Currently setting up the host here to make sure that viewership is good to go.
Take your time.
Yep.
Okay, and we can see that white sacrificed, or I guess they just took on f7. So black captured on e4, white captured on f7. And we can see that black has some nice central control, but white was able to get their king over to the queen side. And black made an effort to open up the queen side. White gave up an exchange. And we can see that now we have this position where black is up 2 points in material, but both kings are exposed. So definitely a situation where either side has good chances. Black is up a little bit on the clock so far. White's kind of thinking what to do here. I'm not sure if black really wants to trade for this knight yet. Oh, okay. They're gonna give up more material, try to get their knight and queen in there and attack black's king. So definitely an exciting game. We will check back in this one. Since the games have started, I want to make sure you guys have a chance to see all of them. So on board number 2.
Yes, already lots of insane tactics in that game.
That's
incredible.
That's going to be one to look at slowly tomorrow.
Absolutely. Yeah, they both blitzed out their moves too. Only 9 minutes left on your teammate's clock.
And on board 2, we've got Lightning Chess. I'll resize this board for you guys. All right, so Lightning Chess is an expert, a scholastic player, very strong and very good at fast time controls. We can see here both sides have an open file on the king side. We'll just scroll through this opening quickly. It is a French. He is a French player, and it's a French win hour. And so I am a proponent of this from the black side. And even though black has created these dark square weaknesses on the king side, we can see that they've been able to mitigate a lot of the pressure due to pretty active pieces and good central control. Anytime black is able to get rid of that pawn on e5, they have a much more comfortable position than normal.
Yeah, and I really like what black was able to accomplish out of that, because it looked like a scary attack at first, but it was just able to defuse the situation.
Right, and I'm not sure how much of it was theory, but whatever amount of theory it was, I would be very confident that the Isaac playing the black pieces here would be more knowledgeable in the theory. At least every game I've ever played him in, he has had the upper hand theory-wise. So he may have been familiar with that position.
Okay. All the extra time he has, it probably is true too.
Right. He's got that 2-minute time advantage. But white has the bishop pair, so they're looking to attack on those dark squares. Those dark squares are going to be weak the rest of the game. All right, let's move on to board number 3. Here we have another expert. This is a local college student for us, against one of your national masters, so a high-rated opponent. And this game looks very calm compared to the last two.
That is very true. And knowing Brian's style, he likes to either play super constrictive chess, which gives the opponent absolutely nothing, Karpov style, or he'll go for a super dynamicism, depending on how he's feeling.
Well, I can tell you that the player with the white pieces here is all about crazy chess and attacking. These pawns that have moved in front of the king, I think that's the closest those pawns have been to his king in any of the games he's played so far.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I
you
wouldn't
think? Sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I wouldn't be surprised if all these pawns make their way down the board. That's what they ended up doing every game last week.
Oh gosh. Okay. Do you think maybe the opening choice for your opponent or for your teammate was properly prepared against, or do you think it was just kind of they just played some moves and then it just kind of happened?
It looks like Black really took a very flexible approach. Really
Okay.
no pawn tension in the opening, and White, they had very normal development, but with this closed center is kind of limiting White's chances to create anything.
Yeah, it kind of transposed into a better French, maybe even a Caro Khan.
Right, which is kind of funny because the player that plays the white pieces, even though he is a very aggressive player, he tends to play a lot of exchange openings because I think he really favors the open lines and open files. And so the fact that we don't have any open files here is definitely something that I think is going to play in Black's favor.
We'll see what happens, though. I mean, it'd be interesting for you as well to see how your teammate will do in non-crazy positions.
Right, exactly, yeah. All right, and we'll take a look at board 4 here. Here we have a younger Scholastic player. He's rated a little under 1,600 over the board, but in my one over the board game against him, it actually ended up being a draw. And so he definitely has potential to play well. And here we have a position which is even in material. What are your first instincts? How do you feel about this position for each side?
Black for the space advantage he has on the queen side. However, he needs to be extremely careful of the attack that could be happening here on the king side.
Right, yeah, Black
especially
definitely has that space.
Yeah, when you're throwing Harry up the board, as GM Ginger would always say, throw it up Harry and see what happens.
Right, and I think White's kind of forced into that because these end games just look like they aren't going to be comfortable with those nice advanced Black pawns, and the fact that Black really has control on the only open file. So yeah, definitely a position where White needs to create some kind of imbalance because if this stays calm, I think it will favor Black. You almost wish that we had opposite colored bishops if you're playing the white pieces because this dark squared bishop is going to be very effective at slowing down a lot of the attacks.
I'll do my very best to be as objective as possible. Obviously, there's going to be some favoritism to my personal team.
Right. No, I think Black has the advantage in this position, but overall, I think all of the games are. I mean, I don't think any of them look decisive one way or the other at this point.
That's definitely playable.
Last week, we lost 16-0 against Virginia, so we're hoping to have a little better showing. I will say that our third board was playing first board, so a little bit of a different team, but we're looking to get our first point. All right, let's go ahead and cycle back to that first game, not only because it was the top board for Alabama, but also it was the craziest position. And we can see that your teammate has managed to get his attack going, but is down to 2.5 minutes. So we saw this sacrifice on h6. And now...
share this.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say now Black is up some significant material, so if there's not a mating attack here, Black can pretty easily just trade off pieces, even give some material back to relieve the pressure, and they should be pretty happy.
Posted, good to go, so now everyone else can watch us. It's live.
And Black does have some discoveries here with the e-pawn push. I don't know how meaningful that is. Black probably is going to be more concerned just with keeping the king safe at this point. But
that bishop was actually, I think as you said, the bishop was doing a very good job protecting the squares around him. So
yeah, I don't see any checks for White.
Yeah.
And if White doesn't have any checks...
Kind of like very superficial.
Right, yeah, I'm not sure what White does if they don't have any checks. because
Right.
they're running out of pieces. Maybe they try and bring that rook over to the G file and try and give it up to get the queen in there. But okay, well, there you
A
go.
lot of sense. Try to trade down when you're material.
Right, and I calculated that queen G7 must not lead anywhere. I guess the king moves, and then
Bishop's just a monster.
yeah,
Defending everything.
and then that's it.
Wow.
I mean, this pawn's gonna fall, and I think objectively,
That should be a win for your opponent.
black should be in good shape. Okay, well then let's move on to the second board here. Okay, and in this position, we'll scroll back to where we were. It looks like black was able to win a little bit of material. So we were in this type of position here. White had given up one pawn to get the bishops active. And we can see black got their light squared bishop active. Always a success in the French. And they're able to trade off some pieces. Oh, and that's just a nice job getting that rook in there. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And then they were able to trade off some pieces. And we can see that while white's down, well, I guess they're down 3 pawns now, but white had a lot of weaknesses on black's king side, but white's queen side wasn't developed enough to really take advantage of it. So black had time to place their pieces well to try and trade off as they needed to. It looks like white may get a pawn back, but I don't see enough pieces to really pressure the black king. So I think black has the edge here, although opposite colored bishops. Rook's still on the board. There's still a lot of play here.
But definitely in black's favor here.
Right. Yep. Definitely potential for a draw, but black's the one holding all the cards. Even time, though, and it could become a time scramble. Both under 4 minutes.
Seconds isn't a lot. It's just enough. But,
right.
So
but if you forget about it, right, 1 or 2 slow moves, and suddenly that increment is not going to save you. All right, cycling over to board 3, we are actually in the exact same position we were when we left this board, with black just playing the move queen b6, one of my favorite moves in chess, queen b6. Lots of openings where it's just pressuring the long diagonal, pressuring d4, pressuring b2, and it's hard for white to defend everything.
See that one very often in the London system, I'll tell you that.
Right, yep, in the London, in any of these, any of these positions where the pawn's on d5 and the pawn's on e6.
Right, that's a good point. Never thought of that. Yeah.
As a French player, that's kind of my go-to structure. So in the London, sometimes you don't have e6 played yet, but a very, very familiar type position. And
the good thing for Brian here is that he's definitely in his comfort zone, as he's written a book on the French defense. So
okay,
we'll see. I don't know what part he gets out of theory, but I'm sure that he's still within the realm. But,
well, even being familiar with the structure is worth a lot. Mm-hmm. Yes, for sure.
But I'm very impressed at your teammates' play, not falling into traps right away, because I know I would.
Yeah, I think one of the big issues here is that white's the one with the weaknesses. We've got the weakness on e5, and even though it's not undefended, it's very challenging for white to ever play f4 in this position to guard that pawn. The bishop's in the way.
You might, though.
You might, but we got pressure on the diagonal, and that's what white wants to do here is play f4, f5, but black playing on the queen side is keeping the focus away from the king side, so definitely advantage black here.
How's your teammate with queen trades? Does he like them, or?
I don't know enough to say.
Okay, I was just curious because if he's an attacking player, goes all out, then I'm assuming maybe you would keep the queens on.
Yeah, he probably wants to keep the queens on, but even though he prefers attacking, he's definitely, I would say, a well-rounded player.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, cool.
Yeah, if he has a choice, he's going to attack, but he can definitely play other positions. All right, here we got our board 4, which is something happened here. White is down a rook.
That's unfortunate. Oh, okay. Svisionzug?
Yeah.
Or was it a mouse slip? Wait, what's this?
Let's see.
Oh, Svisionzug, yeah, because he thought the pin on the pawn would be enough to not be able to recapture, but the rook check hurt.
Right, exactly, yeah. Yeah, and that rook track did it. So we thought that white had to go for something and create something because of the potential weaknesses on the queen side. And that's exactly what he did. He saw a tactic, he went for it. He didn't want to sit there and just wait. Unfortunately, the tactic didn't work. So, as I often tell my students, right idea, wrong time. So, I think he had the right idea, trying to create play, make something happen, but the timing wasn't quite correct. And that's just going to be the end of that game. He'll play on, but there's nothing here. So, this is definitely going to be a win for your first board.
Okay.
All right, well,
anything can happen. You're just getting low on time.
yeah. But definitely advantage black here.
Correct, yeah, just a little bit.
All right, we'll cycle back to the first board. And here, white won by timeout. So, I'm sorry, black won by timeout.
Correct, yeah, he was also in a very, very dismal position here.
Yes. All right, so we're going to go ahead and update the score as we go here so people can see. On board.
I wonder if he missed. Actually,
what was that?
At the end position here, I wonder if he just wasn't paying attention to the clock because it looks like he's able to. Never mind. He has King D8. Okay.
Yeah, I think here. King D8, and then again, it's just a position where the king looks exposed, but there are no checks. Well, and
I didn't see King D8. I thought you had to give up the queen.
Right. Although even then, he might have been able to give up the queen on one of these two pawns. I don't know if I've ever seen two pawns on the second like this.
No, not even whoa. And supported.
Right. All right, so on board 2, we have this position here, and we can see that black lost a rook. No, yeah, black lost a rook. They were up 3 pawns, but something happened. So as we said, anything can happen. Somewhere that rook disappeared. So it looks like there was a fork. So I'm going to just scroll back to where this queen trade happened, which is where we left it off. And this rook went hunting. And just blundered a fork. Full rook, too. Full rook. No compensation for it.
That's a shame.
And being down the rook, those pawns are going to fall fast, right? 3 extra pawns don't mean anything when you don't have a rook.
Right. That's a shame. He had such a promising position, too.
Right, he did, yes. And especially because he was the favorite in that game. And so that was an important game for us to try and convert. Of course, who knows? There could be another fork here at some point. Nope, the trades are happening. All right, we can move on from this one. I'll wait until the game officially ends to put it on the scoreboard, but let's move on and see what's happening.
Right, obviously.
And
here, still a possibility.
Here this game ended. White resigned. It ended up trading down to an endgame very quickly. And it just ended up being a good endgame for black. And so it looks like white decided to give up the pawn structure. They were forced to trade queens.
Okay.
And this pawn structure. Yep.
That's very difficult to hold.
Right, yeah, just passive rooks.
Look at the patience there. He didn't even capture right away.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, no need to capture right away. And unfortunately, the white rook is just passive. And he did eventually get f4 in, but it didn't matter at this point. So that was a win for Florida. So I'll go ahead and mark that. Although I will say that we have scored more points than our last match, so we'll take that.
Excellent. Already a great improvement.
Right, exactly. All right, and on board 4, they're still going. It's still down the rook, but he's got a couple pawns for it, I guess, but not too meaningful. So I guess it's really... I guess all the games are kind of done. I told my players that they do not need to wait for all the games to finish to send the challenge. And so if they and their opponent are ready to go, they're welcome to start.
I'll go ahead and let the team know as well.
So yeah, and they don't. Your team doesn't have to accept the challenge if they want to wait a minute. That's fine. Yeah, so some teams like to wait until all the games are done, especially with Scholastic players. I usually say if they want to send their challenge just so they can keep things moving in the evening, that's fine. But if you guys want to wait, that's also fine.
Okay. All right, let's check out the last two games here that's still playing.
This game went ahead and finished with a nice
okay.
checkmate by your player. Nice
Wowza.
knight and a rook checkmate. Black fought on, but it wasn't quite enough. And then here, this is our final game.
Or just dropping the rook from his position. Bug.
Yeah, and honestly, this is more play than I expected White to have.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, a minute and a half on the clock. There's still has to be a little bit careful.
Hey, gotta convert cleanly.
Right, yeah.
Obviously, if you took the bishop right away, you would just hang the pawn promoting.
Right, and it's not.
But here we are. Okay,
there we go.
This is.
It's not 30-second increment, but it is increment enough.
The pawn's gonna push, make a queen. Not in time, unfortunately. I might be looking for some stalemate trick, but pawns have enough motion here. We're just kind of sitting, waiting to see how the conversion's gonna happen. Oh, are you still there? I think I lost you.
No, I'm still here.
Okay, cool.
Yep. I just was responding to a message from one of my teammates.
Gotcha.
Asking if he had time to go to the bathroom between rounds, and I said, go ahead. So, and so this is going to be the final game, and then they should all be sending their challenges for the next round. We'll let this finish out. What I really like about this first round is that the third and fourth boards for both teams put up a good fight. Yes, there are a couple blunders, but it wasn't like people were losing out of the opening. And so I definitely think we have some potential for upsets. We already did have one small upset, but yeah, there's definitely... Well, I guess technically it was this game. I guess it wasn't... It was our second board, but I think your third board is rated higher than our second board over the board.
Probably. I'm not exactly sure. I'll have to double check. But regardless, it was also all very good games from both sides.
Yeah,
especially like the first two we saw. It was very, very tactical and sharp out of nowhere.
And it looks like some of the next round games have begun. So I will just try and pull them up as they start. It looks like must be these two players. Nope, not yet. Oh, nope, maybe they haven't begun yet. All right, I let my team know that they can start their next game, so they should be sending their challenges.
Let them know. They may start when the challenge has been issued.
And basically what the rule committee decided before the season was that as long as the games are starting within 10 minutes of the last game of the previous, then no action is going to be taken. So there is a possible break if players wait the challenge, but getting everyone to start at the same time is not easy online.
Okay. I really like commentating with you. You and I seem to mesh very well.
Yeah, it's definitely working, which makes me excited for the rest of the season, since I did not dual commentate last week.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't wait to be the home team because we definitely want to try to promote our page as well.
Right. Yes, definitely.
I saw that you do videos. You do streaming as well.
Yeah, I do some streaming.
Did you do before the tournament started?
Yes. Yeah, I've streamed off and on for a bit. And then I also occasionally post to YouTube. I'm a full-time chess coach, just private lessons.
Excellent. Gotcha.
Yeah, and then I also write for Chessable.
Oh, sweet. Awesome. I don't know too much of you. I'm so sorry. If you can maybe give me a little insight.
Yeah, so I'm a USCF expert.
All right.
After college, I moved to Louisiana to teach history, and then I got offered a full-time chess job, and I've been doing chess full-time since then. So right now,
right?
yeah, right now I live in Birmingham.
Oh, awesome.
Okay, so it looks like three
Kind of
of the
hard.
games have started.
Yes.
Okay,
And so we got a first one here. Ooh.
Okay, well this one's already long, so we'll start here.
Okay.
And then we'll go through quickly because they are the openings. Okay, so we can see that White has played a London system, and I will tell you that I have never seen him play a London system before. But he tends to play a ton of different openings.
Gotcha. So difficult to prepare.
Right, exactly. Yes, I haven't. He does play a good amount of C4 and D4, but he knowingly is playing into this position for sure. But this is a position I like for Black, with that Queen B6 and the C4 push.
I mean, this gives Black good chances. I think it has a higher win rate than most of the lines against the London.
Yes,
the Benoni is the second one.
White did play the more accurate moves with knight to d2 and a3, and so White has a better position than normal. But as Black, I would be perfectly comfortable here.
Yeah, definitely playable for both sides.
All right, we'll take a look at this second game. And
so that was much more calm than the last one.
yes, definitely. Well, I think that's what makes our first board Yuri so dangerous in tournaments is that he's happy playing calm or crazy positions, which I think that's one of the keys to breaking that barrier towards National Master is you've got to be comfortable in a variety of positions. And a lot of experts in Class A and Class B players, they're comfortable in one type of position.
They're probably the most difficult to prepare against.
I'm sorry, you cut out there for a second.
No, it's all good. It's all good. All right, so what we got here? We got B6, B3, D.
Oh yeah. So this is actually this is a very interesting system where you fianchetto against C5, and this is a position I've never seen before.
That's very new to me.
Yeah, both sides have this fianchetto queenside bishop. White has
coming out of the Sicilian.
Right, coming out of the Sicilian. Yeah, exactly. It's actually kind of similar to, I'm not sure if you've ever seen the B3 systems against the French, but we're actually getting something similar to that.
Yeah, actually, I've seen that a lot lately. Seems to be very popular to kind of throw people off. It's all about move order at that point.
Yeah, not exactly the same since D5 hasn't been played, but some similar ideas. And I do know that Isaac has played that B3 system against the French before. I don't think it's his main weapon, but he has played it against it before, so he should be relatively familiar with this structure. I don't know anything about your player, though.
Well, our player is a young, up-and-coming, I think expert almost by now.
Okay.
He is 16 years old, and he's definitely in tournaments very often, the scenes here. I don't know too much about his style of play other than he's pretty aggressive.
So they're both high school students. Okay.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, and our player is rated just over 2,000, probably a little underrated. So that's pretty cool. High school matchup there. All right.
Yeah, we kind of had to scramble together a team real quick. So luckily we got some decent competition.
Yes. Okay, and let's see if they started. This was the player that said he was going to be going to the bathroom, and it looks like they've started, so that's perfect. Not having any issues with games starting, so that's nice. Both teams getting things together, and we see kind of a King's Indian setup
with an early knight d7, knight fd7.
Yes, and this is the player I talked about likes to push those pawns on the king side, and so you can be sure that he's looking to get that f5 move in eventually. So he moved that knight back out of the way, right, nice and early.
All right, so definitely ready for a tactical game. Actually, I'm very excited to see this game because Jan is also one of the most tactical players we have.
Okay.
We have a saying for him says you only win because of your BS tactics. So this will be a really fun game to watch.
Yes, we'll definitely check back here. Still the opening, and it looks like we might have some piece trades. Want to make sure we see every game first. Okay, yeah. And here we have this game, which is... Okay, so this is a very kind of strange opening. White's really expanded on the queen side. Yeah. And I know that black plays the Grunfeld at sometimes, so we do have this fianchetto bishop.
Tillis he plays the English a lot too, so I don't know. He does it though as a gambit against d5.
Okay.
I don't know.
I think that white definitely has the better part of this position.
Okay.
Because this expansion on the queen side, it looks like it's pretty hard for black to break it down. Maybe they have to try c6 at some point, but white really has some nice control over these light squares, working together with their long-range bishop.
And you got to be careful not to play c5, because that might be a square where the knight wants to go to.
Right, yeah, and the black bishop that's been fianchettoed is looking right at their own pawn chain. And so
Right.
It looks like, I was going to say that white might occupy that square right away because black was looking to push that e4 and break things open.
A piece exchange here, a little bit of dynamicism going on.
Yep, and that knight ended up on c5, just as you mentioned.
The most logical square. Wasn't sure how to get there. I like what your teammate did.
Yeah, I think
he's getting ready for f5 to get trade out the good defensive bishop around white's king.
Right. Yeah, I think the last few moves, this transition, it feels like after rook e8, things have improved for black a little bit.
I don't understand this. I guess it looks to sit in d3 and look for...
He wants to play f4 himself, I believe.
Okay. I'll be surprised. And then I'll be like, I don't know him at all. He might do it, honestly. He's catch me off guard.
It's kind of a thematic move in these positions, I believe. Maybe not quite yet, but that would be a very natural reason for this knight to come back. Or he's just going to place it right on d3 and try and blockade.
Blockade seems to make logical sense.
You're still cutting in and out a little bit.
Oh, okay. Is this better?
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. All right, we'll switch back to this first board, and wow, that knight has managed to get to the b3 square.
I'm not so sure what to really go for here in these structures as white. I know it's like a lot of a waiting game and just being careful of that b pawn if you allow it. So
yeah, it looks like we almost...
I personally tend to get crushed in the queen side here as a London player.
Yeah, and it almost looks like white's deciding whether or not to take... Yep, it took the repetition.
All right, that's definitely a respectable thought here, because I think white has the worst of it.
I agree. Yeah,
slightly.
I think black definitely got the better of that opening. And so it's one of those positions where I think our first board would like to get more, but also doesn't want to risk it. I think black's the one with winning chances here. So
get ready for f6, e5. Like the whole chain could just start cramming in.
Right. Let's go ahead and update this score then.
Welcome to London.
Okay, so that game's finished. On to the board 2. In this position.
Wow. 5. Coming after him.
Yeah, and nothing's been captured yet. I think that was the first capture of the game.
Yep. All right, first exchange, and the question is, who's it going to benefit, though? I feel like it might benefit white.
Yeah, opposite side casting. I'm not sure how black actually gets this attack going.
Yeah.
Like, he's solidified this knight on f4, but how does he get these pieces over to the king side?
He has to go for f6, but you don't have to take, and then the white's pieces just sit in front of the pawn forever. Oh, you know what? Actually, that could work. f6, and then looking for the idea of d5. And start kicking pieces around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe the queen tries to take here at some point once it's safe.
Yeah.
But I would be
sharp, though, for me.
Yeah, I would be a little bit worried about black's king. It almost feels like these pieces have to stay over there to help defend.
Right.
Otherwise,
And
it's
I
going to get
think
pretty wild.
Xavier dropped a piece the last game, so probably tactical shots are going to be big in this one too.
Right. Okay, they're doing thinking pretty even on the time. Okay, we'll jump into this one. Ooh, it looks like this one got a bit spicy.
Uh-oh.
All right, so this is where we left off. We saw this exchange happened, and black goes for a pawn break and plays f6.
F6.
Wow.
Wowza. Anti-positional, but hey, you know what? It's one step closer.
Well, it's one of those moves that, like, if this was an over-the-board game, I think that white would not play this move without definitely calculating f6. Like, it wouldn't be that much of a surprise that it could be played. But in, like, a rapid game, it's easy to overlook a move like that.
Right.
And so I wonder if he was trying to induce it or whether he didn't really consider that as a possibility.
I like his visions that he pulled off here. Trying to make it a little bit strange and work after the backward pawn on d6.
Yeah, although, I was going to say, I was a little worried about the d4 square.
Yeah, d4. No, you're right.
And the e5 square. It feels like these knights have a lot of potential squares, but so do the white knights. This might just be a battle of whose knights get the better squares.
I kind of prefer black just a little bit for dynamicism.
Yeah, and there's f5.
Bet. Why not?
Yeah, it feels like another one of those.
Trap the bishop.
Yeah. Well, it feels like one of those positions where if the dynamic play and tactics work out, black should have a great position. But if they don't, it's going to be another one of those positions where if things fizzle out, white should have a good endgame playing against that backwards pawn.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So black's going to be looking to keep pieces on.
Right, definitely. But white's going to have to choose which pieces to trade because as the pieces trade, it might be easier for black's pieces to get the better squares also.
White has a very difficult choice here, actually. Wow. If you don't do anything, you lose your bishop. And if you do something, this happens.
Right. And you got to think this is what black wants.
Yeah, and H-pawn's hanging, F-file's wide open. Knights are about to start swarming in.
It's one of those positions where the d6 pawn does not matter at all right now. It might matter later, but right now it doesn't.
Got to play a lot of defensive or accurate moves here. Okay.
Okay, moved queen g4.
Hopping into e5, unless I'm missing something.
Hopping into which? Oh, e5? Okay, you're thinking, knight e5 right away. Is he going to... Oh, I can't go for the queen trade.
No, it's really tricky here.
Yeah, I'd be worried about the d3 square also.
Yeah, same here. Huh. Actually, yeah, if you get the knight into d3 and then the rook moves off of the c file, then bishop captures, pawn captures could be a potential weakness to work against it structurally. But with all the pieces on, I definitely wouldn't trade that bishop just yet.
Right, but it also means that black might be able to transition into an endgame that's not so bad for them.
Correct.
Right, so if the attack fizzles out. So
yeah.
All right, well, we'll come back to this one. Take a look at this last one that we talked about. And the knight went right to d3 as we had the arrow still drawn from last time we looked at this.
What happens here? All of a sudden, all the pawns and the king star are getting shoved up the board.
Yeah, this bishop trade happened.
I was expecting that one.
And black has some beautiful center pawns.
He does. He really does.
The question is, are they going to become overextended?
That's actually a very good point. And one of Brian's former students gave me a lesson the other day. It was more of an interview, but the interview was kind of like lesson at the same time. Mm-hmm. He was explaining, be very careful about pushing your pawns too far up the board because when it transitions to an endgame, it becomes much more difficult to defend them and they become targets of attack. So, yeah, that was the fact that you said they could become overextended made me think of that.
Right, yeah, definitely. And this isn't that far away from an endgame right now.
No, not at all. And Brian is extremely good with his knights, like extremely good. So, but I prefer the bishop in this position.
Yeah. I'm wondering after the move e4, how you keep that knight.
He might pitch a pawn. He might have to on f4, and then play. I don't know. Actually, that's really tough.
Yeah, king h8 and rook g8. If those pawn...
Yeah, you're just getting swamped.
Yeah, so I think he has to decide what to do here. I don't think he can ever play f3 because of this weak square here. So, and he's actually down 5.5 minutes on the clock.
4?
Yeah.
I don't like e4 either. This deserves a lot of time to think.
Yeah, someone in the chat mentioned the f4 move, which is something we talked about before. F4, e4, knight goes back maybe. But yeah, this is a big decision for white here. Because you could almost just get steamrolled here if you're not careful.
I'll have to chat myself because I didn't read anything.
Okay, he plays f3. He gives up the e3 square. And says that's the lesser of the multiple evils of the position.
Oh, hey, it's Ezriv. How's it going, Ezriv? Good to see you. He's always around all the chats.
Okay.
I love watching him. He makes some great comments, too, so...
I'm glad
Don't see anything else that stops the pawn master. I agree.
He played f3, and black immediately responded with e4.
Got to take that. I don't think there's any reason not to. Because otherwise, you're just going to get E3 himself, then smashed.
Right.
All the pieces stuck on the queen side.
But
it's interesting though. I kind of like what's happening a little bit here for whites.
Well, the knight to
f4
doesn't.
F4,
right. It doesn't seem as bad.
Now.
And it's hard for this rook to go to the f file because of the e pawn. So this transition feels like it was good for white. Oh, okay, he's going straight for the g file as we mentioned before. But now this is an interesting idea. At some point, white might be able to play e3 at some point and try and open this diagonal.
Feeling that too, but d3 would feel kind of shaky. Oh, wow. Okay. There it is, the beautiful knight.
Yep, that is a beautiful knight.
Rook f6 probably coming in soon.
Good point. Maybe we play like rook e6 here.
What do you think about trading rooks in this position? Do you think it's a little too soon?
For black?
Rook f8?
Well, you're going to lose the e-pawn.
Oh, you're right.
Yep, that's the problem. It's not even a real option.
Nope.
Yeah, I agree with Ezra that e4 was probably a little bit rushed. It felt like black could kind of build on that position. They weren't forced to do anything right then.
I like the move that your teammate played here. Very solid move. It kind of avoids some stuff.
Yeah, and it guards the e-pawn, so now trading is an option.
Amazing how the pressure just suddenly shifted in one move.
It definitely did.
He still might play rook to f6 and double up.
Yeah, that would be an option. I'd almost like to see black go ahead and go for that exchange sack.
Offers a draw here. Uh-oh.
It's probably too unbalanced of a position for that, although 6.5 minutes on the clock.
Ryan is very good in 3+0 games, so this is so the timing of the draw is not so bad just yet. However, positionally, I wouldn't doubt him sitting here because the draw offer stands however long he sits. So,
right,
you can sit here for 3 minutes and still hit the accept draw button.
Right, but if he sits here for 3 minutes and doesn't accept the draw, okay, he's going after the 7th rank. Definitely makes sense.
Ooh, ready to attack.
I'm gonna say that we review those other two games since we've been on this one for a while, and this one's going to be exciting. So let's just go ahead and review those other two. This one looks like it hasn't really changed.
Not too much, no. I mean,
f6 was played,
but that's it.
But yeah, not a lot exchanged. White definitely has the time edge again. If this match was just about being up on the clock, Alabama would be scoring a little bit better. Well, in that previous game, black offered the draw partly because they're up on time and they're a much lower rated player. So if they can bag the half point, I think they would feel like they had a success.
Yeah, that's a good point there too.
It's 1,500 versus 2,300. I think there's like a 750 point rating difference. So,
And no, Knight of 6 here is threatening mate in 1.
yep. And
Oh.
what happens after Bishop G7?
Probably cry a little bit. Bring the other rook into the game. Finally. Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and check out the other games.
Yeah,
like you were
yeah,
saying.
yeah.
We could definitely go back to this.
Not much to look at this game. Not much has changed. But what about here?
All right. Ooh. Oh, this was the two tacticians.
Right. And this game really hasn't advanced that far either. But what I like...
Monster bishop, though, for black.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things I like about black's position here is that most of black's pieces are on the king side. But b4 or b5 is kind of an unusual move to shift the focus over to the queen side. So maybe he's looking to play down the a file?
Either. Maybe he was kind of lacking a play. Can you maybe reverse it 2 moves and maybe I can see visually before b5 was played? Okay.
So this is where we left it. The queen came in. The knight hit it just as expected. Although he hit it from f6 and not e5.
Right.
Because he wanted to get... E5. Yeah, but it looks like he wanted to get that knight over to h5. Maybe he was looking to get a knight in there. He brought the knight back to guard the f4 square. And I guess black decided they didn't have anything yet. And they said, okay, that knight left the queen side. Let me try and draw it back. So playing on both sides of the board.
That's actually very Karpovian. You have control of one side and time to attack the other.
Right, and I'll tell you, that's one thing I'm bad at. If I've got a good position on one half of the board, I'm playing on that half of the board.
Gotcha. It's the timing of switching. It's hard.
Right, it is, yep.
We have a Florida player, Bowman. He is known for just say inoptimal openings where he'll play a move and then normally a person would have their pride and just leave the piece on the bad square, but he's like, oh no, this bishop definitely belonged on a different square, so he'll invest a full second turn, doesn't care about pride, and just puts it there. It's like, okay, you know what?
That's good.
Doesn't matter. That's hard to do as a chess player.
It is, yeah.
You're like, I made a mistake.
Right. We'll come back to this move. We'll look at what happened. Ezra mentioned that he, even in a good position, he's not. He doesn't normally offer draws, even against stronger opponents. You know, I tend to agree if it wasn't a team match. And so that team aspect does make something a little bit different. So we saw this maiden threat. He guards the mate. We have a fork. And white won a piece. So that was a nice little tactic. An overloading tactic. So here the queen is guarding both the rook and the bishop. It's overloaded. And so by exchanging one of them, he's able to win that piece. And so now...
I'm sorry.
I was going to say, now white is up a piece.
Yeah. And I think Ezra was talking about, I think there was a pawn push forking 2 pieces, losing a piece.
On one of the other games?
I think so. In the Yan one?
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, there it is.
So played b5, played b3, played queen d2, and
the fact that the move wasn't played so soon, or it was played much later than this than necessary. I feel like you had that immediately, didn't you? Unless there was a tactic I'm missing.
Why didn't he have it here? He brought the knight back. I guess in this position he had to bring the knight back, or this knight would jump and hit the queen, and then he'd be able to recapture with the rook. But why couldn't he play it here?
Or there. Because you can still take the knight with check and a fork. There's this vision, so you can't take the rook in time. And so bishop takes, knight takes. If knight takes, rook takes, saves the rook. If they don't take, the knight's hanging with the check. That makes sense. Wow.
So what's different now? How's that changed?
Probably hasn't. I think maybe you just missed it now.
Right, yeah.
You have probably just hanging a pawn on h4. We'll see, though. I mean, this is definitely getting super tactical, which I really like.
Yeah.
Very fun stuff.
This is the kind of position where you want more than 5 minutes on the clock.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All right, so this game is basically decided up the piece. This game looks like this game's getting exciting now also. So we left it here. Black managed to double rooks on the only open file, and come in here with a little tactic. Bishop takes knight fork.
Oh, and the bishop's there. Oh,
Right, so that's an interesting
that was
position.
rude.
Yeah, so now white's got to get into the think tank, and black's under 2 minutes.
And did you say lightning chess is also a high schooler?
Yes.
Aha. All right. So the younger they are, the more tactical they become.
Right,
Or are, I
right,
should
yeah.
say.
Okay, let's go back to this position because this is
Yeah, I want to see what they decides on.
right. Yeah, I don't know if it's worth us even trying to figure it out here.
Oh, they played a couple moves already.
Oh, they did. Okay, I just got to fast forward. Okay, knight
I
takes,
didn't see that.
rook
Ooh,
takes.
rook takes.
He doesn't take back. We've got things happening down this file for white. So, okay, that was quick. Somehow it's still equal material after all that.
Yeah. I don't even know anymore. I would be still trying to recover psychologically after all that.
Right. Ezra was saying that bishop takes f4 may have been. I'm not sure which move he means, but maybe on either of those moves. But the rook being able to retreat should clear things up. I don't think this pressure down the file is going to be meaningful with a move like queen f6. Then there's a pawn push. The queen could join the rook on that knight.
Probably calculating all this every single move too, so they're getting tired.
Right, yes, yeah. And this is only round 2. It feels like we've already had several rounds because every game has been exciting.
I'm starting to wonder if b5 was the right idea, because if all the action suddenly takes place on the king side, I'm not so sure. Oh, well, I don't like that move at all, because now the rook can just sit on f5 for a while.
Oh, you're right. It could. Yeah. I think he's trying to get that queen active. But
right. Oh, you cut out there. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I just didn't finish my thought.
Oh, okay. It actually sounded like you cut out. I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, so does the rook want to be there? I guess the rook can't be attacked, and it cuts off the queen. A little bit of interference.
Right. It feels like it was a move that popped out immediately. He has a dark square bishop. Sorry, opponent has a dark square bishop. Knight doesn't look like a way to actually attack the rook in a few moves either.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, you got 2 moves. Okay, there's knight e4, knight g3, but you have time to double up and then play the rook to f3.
Right. So. Yeah, you can always get that pin. As long as the bishop hasn't moved.
Man, chess is hard. Let's stick with that. Okay, so get out one pin, go into the other.
Right. Not as real a pin though.
That's true.
I'm not sure what this knight's doing. Is it going to f4? It's not going to f4. F4 would be a block.
Kind of cautious now. So if things are getting traded down, who would be better? I think black's endgame would be slightly better.
Yeah, the 4 on 3 is definitely more meaningful. D4.
D4, D5. D5, D4.
D5.
I wonder if D5 is the idea right now.
I want this knight to be a little more secure first. Maybe even knight D4 at some point. I mean, because if you go knight D4 and then bring it back to F5.
That's a nice square. Very nice.
And I
prefer your maneuver.
Yeah, I don't think black minds the queen trade here. Oh, you meant for the knight. Okay, you meant for the knight. Okay, so yeah, that's what we were talking about. Okay.
Yeah, you're not a grandmaster. You can't play D6, D4. I'm quoting Ben Feingold way too much. Sorry.
Have you heard about AlphaZero playing those new variants? Torpedo chess?
Yes!
So that is a legal move with torpedo chess.
That is true. I was surprised at the graphs, too, that, what was it? There was a former world champion who was coining the idea of not castling. Kramnik, I think
Kramnik, yep. Kramnik, yep.
Yeah, and they did the AlphaZero without castling, and those games tended to be more decisive. So definitely important to castle your king, guys. For the
More
beginners.
decisive, but wasn't it like a difference of like 98% draws to 97% draws? Oh, a little
That-
Zwischenzug to get the knight to a better square.
Oh no, you're right. Yeah.
Wow, that was nice. White thought they were
Okay.
going to get the capture here, maybe. And black threw in this check and won a pawn. Oh, no, they're losing
All
a
right.
d6 pawn. But the knight is getting the f5. So,
Yeah, it's a tit for tat.
yep. Going to be a bit of a time scramble. Oh, another tactic.
All right, tactics everywhere again. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah. All right, let's take a look at those other games. Has this one finished up? This one did. White ended up winning. So let me go ahead and mark that. And this game, this game's under more time pressure. Wow. Okay, 8 seconds to 21 seconds. White gave up the exchange, but Black gave up the exchange, but has 2 pawns for it.
All right, so Brian, who's completed his game, is making a couple comments about Xavier's game. He says Xavier looks like he's going to win. He loves a mess on the board. He just likes having a mess.
Yep.
That's pretty much it.
Well,
This is definitely a mess.
there is definitely the threat here of bishop to g2. And then queening the pawn.
I'm troubled though.
4 seconds, 3. Isaac also likes a mess.
Yeah, he lost on time last time, Xavier. So, wonder if that's gonna happen again. Ooh! Oh! That's annoying.
Discoveries.
Ow,
the
playing
queen.
a little too fast there is Xavier. Didn't he have bishop takes knight? Bishop takes rook? Or am I missing something? Was it a double check?
Well, it was
Oh no, it was blocked.
It was blocked,
Yeah. Oh,
and that's it.
dude.
That's it. He lost the queen.
Yikes.
Wow. Okay.
All right, well, your teammate definitely preferred a mess more than him.
Preferred the mess with
Ouch.
15 extra seconds.
Ouch. That's a shame. Oh well. I mean, anything can happen in time trouble. So
Yeah.
your teammate did great. So we got here. Is this last game or is there one left?
This is the last game. It's 2.5 for Alabama and 4.5.
All right, the draw.
Right, the draw. Yeah. So this is our last game. Black is down a pawn.
All right, so it's actually a very close match, Florida versus Alabama. So I'm glad also that you guys are getting points on the board.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, getting a blah is not fun. Not fun at all.
And even if a couple of the games start for the third round, I'm just going to leave it here since they're both under 2 minutes, and we'll kind of catch up with any games that start as they go.
Alrighty.
Because this is still an interesting position here. Black has gotten the pawn back, and am I being too bold in saying that I prefer black now with that active rook?
I do prefer black as well. I agree with you. And Jan's endgame, he says it himself, is not the best.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I really don't know much about Farouk's endgame. But I guess we'll see here. He's given up that pawn.
Shot. Want the rook to be one more up. Okay. Kind of tricky. With the right timing, that rook can open up and get into the back rank, the 8th rank.
Yeah, definitely. There's enough pieces on the board that
I don't like this. Nah, I don't like this for white. I think black's just winning this now.
yeah, this knight does a good job of guarding this square. And I actually think that black's decision to keep the bishop on was a good decision.
I agree. The bishop to f6 was a very superficial move.
Yeah, maybe trading would still be okay. But I feel like black's king should just be able to run up the board if needed. I don't see anything. This knight really guards a lot of the square as well. With the bishop, I don't think there's any kind of crazy checkmate here. Yeah, I didn't understand a5 either. Maybe it was just to try and get the rook off of the second rank, but the rook went right back.
It was probably more so to not let it go to a4, attacking the knight, allowing the rook to move around.
Okay. Okay, so
I
just
mean, it's probably very tiny. Who knows?
right.
We could both be wrong. Who knows?
Could have been a
Ask him
mouse
afterward.
slip.
There you go. Oh, I had my finger over the pawn. Whoops.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, I'd still prefer obviously black being up a pawn, but it technique wise, it should be okay for your teammate here. Definitely a critical game.
Yeah. It was
You can put this one away.
if anything trades, then black should have a really easy conversion. With 3 pieces left for each side, he's still got to worry a little bit.
The white king being too far away. Now it's getting in.
How is your player with time pressure?
Pretty good. He's probably a bullet player more so than anything else.
Okay. So I think they're both good under time pressure then. I think that our first and fourth board are the weakest under time pressure, but our second and third board prefer it. Blunder? There was a blunder? Oh, they're forked. The rook and knight are forked. That's it. He's losing a piece.
GG.
Wow. Maybe it wasn't.
What am I missing here?
Oh, well, it was a trade of rooks.
Okay. Okay, I freaked out too.
Yeah. He saw knight e3. Okay. But now the rooks are off, and it's same colored bishops. So the only thing to be a little concerned about, is that it's going to be hard for these pawns to be kept. Oh, he's just going to place his knight. He's going to place his knight on f7 if needed. And that white king can't get in.
Yeah, now it's just going to be a power of 2 threats. You're going to have the other pawn go up the board soon. Time pressure, though, it's kind of conversion-wise. Okay, now the pawn's getting in.
Yeah, I wonder even if the king is going to try and grab one of these. Honestly, black should just be pushing the h-pawn right now.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, why not? Just
it's
the king's on a light square.
Well, it's hard for this bishop to do anything about it.
Yeah, it's all over. Trying to get something going, but that knight is just super powerful in f7.
It's going to take white a long time to even corral that pawn.
Too much excitement other than like many little bit of things to say. Okay, so there goes the pawn.
So there's the second pawn. But they're both at 10 seconds, so it's hard to resign when your opponent has 10 seconds left.
Correct. Yeah. So chances to draw is very limited. Probably more so with a rook, not so much a bishop. In terms of tricks, but your teammate should be able to do it just fine. Surprised he dropped the a pawn.
Well, I'm not sure there was a good way to save it.
I thought it was kind of the fact that he was throwing the a pawn up the board instead of just throwing the h pawn, like you and I agreed.
Oh, right. Oh, you mean in the end game? Yeah. Just push the h pawn.
Yeah.
I think that would have been smoother. Yeah.
Ooh, look at this. All right, getting some pressure. King h6, h3. King h3 might do it.
Yeah. King h3. I want to keep up with the moves, but...
Yeah, no problem.
But I agree that...
Probably interesting try. Looks scary, though, but it definitely looks interesting. With more time on the clock, definitely calculate that.
Right, yeah. Okay, black's got to do something here.
Yeah, it's very interesting, because if he gets the knight too far away, the bishop would just snap up the g-pawn, then the king would take the h-pawn.
Well,
so he has a lot...
Probably be backing the king up.
Oh, he can take the pawn now. He can take the pawn. King takes the knight. There it is. He found the draw.
Well, okay. Oh, wow.
Wow. Very lucky draw there. I think he just missed the pawn push there.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But, when they're both under 10 seconds, it's hard to show good technique.
Wow. That was a cool game.
It was, yes. Good round. Okay. So that is 3-5. 3-2 rounds.
Oof in the chat. You got. Oh, sorry, I didn't even keep up with the Twitch chat here. Book fans saying, "Go, good luck, Alabama." All right.
All right, let's see which games have already begun. They might have all begun, which is great. Things are moving along. Don't have any downtime. Okay, they haven't started, but that's probably a reflection of the last game finishing. Yep, they're gonna wait to start. And okay, so we've got 2 games already going here in round 3 in a close match so far. If one game had been flipped, it would be a tied match at the moment.
Is true, I think. Oh, yeah, the other game.
Okay, so now we've got our first NM versus NM matchup, I think.
Excellent. Very interested to see what's going to happen.
And White is choosing super flexible, which is what he does. Doesn't want to commit to anything, and just says, I can outplay my opponent in whatever type of position they choose. And unfortunately, that is usually the case whenever I play him. So yeah, no tension in this position here.
So we have a style similarities here, flexible versus flexible.
Right, and it's one of those games that is probably like really valuable to learn from, but just isn't going to make for super exciting commentary at this point. Partly because
guys, Rooks are connected. Yeah. They're controlling some of the center. The kings are castled.
And I can at least speak for myself when I say that I don't understand these positions. I don't play this type of position from either side. So.
Oh, gotcha. I kind of like White a little bit, though.
Yeah, I mean, White definitely doesn't have any issues here.
Yeah, visually, I like it a lot, especially with the bishop on b2 eyeing down that g7 bishop.
Right, and I know this is exactly the type of structure he's familiar with and plays quite a bit.
All right, cool.
Black will play f5, and f5 was played. Yep. Nice call by Ezra there. Okay, there was one other game that was going, so let's see if we can see how that one developed.
Yep.
This is your 3rd board against our 4th board, and it is an accelerated dragon. And this is all theory.
Wow.
This is all theory here, I believe. Maybe not. So. Right? It's the kind of theory that our opponent or my player, the Alabama player, only has 6 minutes on the clock, which makes me think that if it is theory, he wasn't familiar with it.
Right.
But that idea of chasing the knight and playing e3 is definitely a good line to know against the accelerated dragon if you're not going to play the Maroczy bind. So that's definitely a good idea to know. I think White's just better in this position. Yes. Queen.
Is the score currently 4.5, 5.5? How much is it right now?
It's 3-5.
3-5.
Yes.
All right, cool.
3-5. Florida is winning. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Queen to d7 and then c7. Definitely not theory. That is true. Wasted tempo by Black. And the Black King's just stuck in the center, so that's not really pleasant for them. Let's see if those last 2 games have begun. And that game has not started.
So much theory in a dragon, though, so I avoid all that altogether.
There is, yeah, quite a bit of theory. Okay, this 3rd game has started between Xavier and... Okay, so we've got another matchup where both players like crazy positions. And we've got to look.
Xavier just should not fall under time pressure now because both times time pressure killed him.
Right, yeah.
Gotta play faster, gotta trust himself.
And the player that we have with the black pieces tends to be a quick player in general, but then he'll go into deep things. And so
Gotcha. So he's used the extra time.
Right, exactly. So if he likes his position, he's going to be playing fast. And so that we'll be able to get a good feel for what he thinks about the position just by looking at the clocks, which right now is pretty even, pretty early in the game. But there, a quick a5. And we should...
a5, very standard attack.
Right? We should have one more game starting here.
Yep. I think Yen was going to the restroom. He says he's got to play now.
Yep, they've started. Perfect.
There we are. All right. Got
and
Perk alert.
Yes, and of course, white is playing the early bishop e3, probably looking to trade dark square bishops. Okay,
Right.
perfect. All 4 games are rolling here, and all still relatively early. Not much to say about this position other than black is taking a position that is objectively slightly worse, usually in favor of knowing the position really well. I don't think anyone's going to argue that the perk is objectively a good opening, but it's not so bad for it to matter, especially at rapid time controls.
It doesn't, strictly speaking, play for much. Just kind of
Right.
like get your pieces out and play.
But it's a very common weapon for a player whenever they're playing down a bit to choose the perk.
That's true.
One of the things that it does is it forces the other player to commit to something. Whatever they choose to do, they have to commit to it, and it really allows black to respond. White can't really choose to be flexible against an opening like the perk.
If you decide to actually try to play flexible moves, you might put yourself in a 2 equal position or worse.
Exactly, and like Ezra said in the chat, Jan is very familiar with these positions. Oftentimes, perk players are. It seems like
Jan
white.
Loves the perk.
It seems like white must also be familiar with this position because he has only used 30 seconds so far. So we'll see what happens. I think this one could have some fireworks.
Yeah. It's also like every move that's been played so far is pretty natural for white.
Yes. Yeah. Pretty natural.
Waiting for that bishop d7 commitment.
Right, exactly. Yeah, black's trying not to commit. White's trying to come up with useful moves until they commit. Exactly, yep. All right. Well, we'll leave this one for a moment. We'll jump back to this first one. F5 was played.
I'm going to step away for a sec. I got to use the restroom.
Okay, go ahead.
Right.
So F5 was played, and we can see that white has expanded on the queen side, black is expanding on the king side, and we still have no tension in the position. So both sides are trying to take as much space, get as much of their position that they want before committing to any kind of attack. It looks like white may be looking to play c5 here. Maybe not yet, but maybe that's an idea. Maybe knight a5. Black has really left all of their pieces off the queen side. Right? No black pieces on this part of the board, so that's kind of unusual. And so we're going to see black probably strike on the king side and in the center, and white striking in the center or on the queen side. This is the game we just looked at. Moving on to this game between Farouk and Xavier. We left this at a5. And I can't say I have a lot of familiarity with this type of position. The white bishop is hitting c6. We've got a lot of pressure on the c6 square. Black's going to have to decide what to do with this dark square bishop. And has to be a little careful because there are some positions where the b file is going to open up and the queen's going to have nice pressure on that knight. Black's bishop on this diagonal does not have a lot going for it yet. A4 might be possible for white. All right, let's look at this fourth board here. So we saw this position. Black played the move rook to d7. He's trying to do all he can to defend because the king is stuck in that center. And he plays e5. This is not a real threat on the queen because the pawn is pinned right now, but it does give his pieces a little breathing room. So we'll see if this room around the king that he's created allows white to get an attack on the king or allows the black king to get a little safer. Yeah, g4 definitely looks like it would be a natural move. Maybe he had it at any point here. So after queen here, g4, attacking the bishop, and maybe the bishop comes up. Maybe the bishop would have to go back all the way to c8. Can't come back here due to e7. Can't come back here due to the file. So yeah, that might have been an idea for sure. And black is just having to be super passive with their pieces right now. And now he's played g4. So He waited. Now I don't think it's as strong. Might still be a strong move, but earlier definitely felt like it was stronger. Although I guess the bishop can't back up now either. So maybe it is strongest now. Yeah. How does he save that bishop? I take it back. G4 looks quite strong in this position. Yeah, it looks like black's just losing a piece. At first I thought he could back the bishop up, but this bishop is still covering that square. Looking for counterattacks. Not seeing any. Can't hit the queen. Can't even move the rook over to try and create something down the file. So that looks like it's just going to be a piece. So we'll leave this one. He does move the knight, but that's not going to really save things. I guess there can be an exchange first, but any of these exchanges, the black king's still going to be in trouble, and white should still be up a piece after bishop takes bishop. Okay, we'll cycle back through the games. All right, so in this position, white has managed to open up the A file. So going back a few moves, we left it after knight to b3. Black went ahead and pushed g4. And we have an open A file for white, which should be what they were looking for, should be strategically good. This rook has some nice squares to go to. Maybe they'll try and double on the A file. And the question will be, does black get a real attack on the king's side? Because for white to really use this A file, they're going to have to commit their pieces to the queen side pretty strongly. Maybe this rook needs...
I'm back. Sorry about that.
Oh, not a problem. It looks like we've got one game that is basically decided. This game where black was struggling with the king in the center. Black is losing a piece. And then we were just cycling back through in this NM battle. White has grabbed that A file. Maybe the rook comes over, tries to double, and the knight comes back to defend. It'll be interesting to see how black tries to create anything on the king's side here, and whether there is anything to create. This
is a very interesting position with the pawns because none of them have any tension between each other.
Right. And if nothing happens on the king's side, I think white's just better because of the A file, is my feeling.
I agree.
Okay, and then on our second board here, this was our perk. We'll rewind. We see that black managed to get their knight to c4, very common. White exchanged. And then white broke open the center and...
Wow, under heavy pressure actually here.
Yeah, I feel like white's got to be happy with their position.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, black has not managed to even just knight to g5 here. Black has a lot of weaknesses. And the only pieces that are trading are the dark squared bishops. So
yeah, your opponent has a very strong position right now.
And actually, the
what am I saying, your opponent?
I was going to say the move queen g7 was actually a big threat on the rook and bishop, but black defended that already.
I'm going to try to castle queenside and just get the heck out of Dodge, you know? Like,
yeah. Well, I wonder...
I'm looking at some crazy idea here, sacking the rook on d6. Probably a little too much, though.
It might be something.
A little too much. I don't know.
Ezra's thinking the same thing in the chat.
Oh, I was just thinking, like, if that happens, black takes, queen, d7, castles, queen side, then take the knight, probably.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Just keeping it simple.
There's probably no need to, right? If you don't sack on d6, you still have a great position.
Yeah, exactly. That's just, like, flashy.
Right, it's not worth the calculation risk. Right, exactly. Okay, well, we'll cycle through the other game here, which this game has actually changed quite a bit since we last looked at it. So we last looked at it after queen to b3. And black played a4 to kick the queen away. And black's getting some tempo moves here. White doesn't want to trade because the c4 square was so strong for the black knight to jump into. Black has a good position here.
I think this is what holds back Xavier a lot in his games is because he's such an aggressive tactical player, he falls into bad positions, like positional chess,
Right.
I should say. And it definitely shows in this game here.
Yep, black does have the move rook takes d2 if he wants to get those 2 knights for the rook. Rook takes, knight takes, queen takes. I guess the only question then would be, do you have to be concerned about any kind of rook to the e file? I would guess not.
Just queen takes b5 after that.
Right, yeah, queen takes b5. That even guards that last square, you're right. So, yeah, rook takes e2. Looks pretty good.
It does.
Oh.
Ezreal calling all the shots now.
He didn't play it, though.
Nope. Let's just build on it.
Yeah.
But that was definitely a very good shot there.
Yes. I hear pieces being traded on one of the other boards. Okay, we got checkmate here. Let's see how this checkmate happened. It looks like it was a nice one. So, white's up the piece
came
here.
out of nowhere.
Black tries to pin that rook, trying to go for their own checkmate, right? A little trap. But it actually...
backfired.
Yep, it did backfire.
Ouch.
That is a nice checkmate by black. Really just a nice game by black. Or by white, I mean. I'm sorry. A real nice game by white.
Yeah.
They got the advantage right out of the opening. And they never let up. They never let up the pressure. So, well done.
Right. Definitely massive respect to your teammate there. That was a good try at the end.
Yes. Yeah, he was fighting there. Okay, here we got back to the perk position. And... black has ugly pawns, but they have released some of the tension.
Still, I don't know. I still very much prefer white.
Yes, but if I was playing black here, I don't feel like I'm immediately losing a piece or more. Right? In that last position, I was like, okay, how do I not lose a ton of material? Black is up a pawn here. So... doesn't matter yet, but
5 isolated pawns. Love it.
Yes.
Let's make it 7. Why not?
Right.
Come on, push H3 for us. Or H5. I don't know.
Right, H5. Yeah. Yeah. The structure is rather meaningless.
Actually, H5 might be in consideration. To be perfectly honest, H5 knight takes. You take the center pawn, hitting the rook.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like black's going to be able to hold any of the pawns, and I don't know what the king wants to do. Also, a 5-minute time advantage. Okay, so he decides to guard it. Just
Center
knight
pawns are more
g5.
valuable. Knight g5, just continuing the pressure, continuing the hold.
Yeah, maybe the king has to be used to defend.
I guess that's what he's trying to consider. Like, is it worth investing the time with the knight move to allow king to connect rooks?
Yeah, he also, he can also bring the rook in. He can also just try and double. Like, it seems like if anything trades, it's just going to help white get to all these weaknesses.
Right.
All right. So
not too much more to say about the position other than that.
Yeah. That one hasn't. Okay, so this is the one we were looking at. Okay, so in this position, he did end up playing f3. So it looks like he did miss the shot of rook takes e2.
Still there, though. What happened next? Oh, nope, it's not there anymore.
No, but he does get this e3 square. I mean, I think black
That's
is still
true.
definitely better, for sure.
Lots of pressure.
Yep, and none of white's pieces are doing anything. They're all there. They're not
Actually-
losing any material.
And bishop f2 could still come with that same idea of sacking the rook for the 2 knights.
Oh, you're right.
But I think that might be a little too much. Oh,
Yep, bishop d3 is definitely coming in.
Bishop d3, yeah.
Bishop c2 traps the rook right now. Yep.
Bam. Yowza.
Now, I'm not sure you want to take the exchange in this position, right? Are those rooks really worth the bishop? Maybe, maybe not.
Hey, you don't even have to take it right away. You can just sit.
That's true. Yeah, you don't have to take it at any point. You can decide. I mean, black can try and get this rook in at some point.
I very much like the bishops there. I wouldn't be trading. It'd be pretty much asking white, what can you do?
Right, and like Ezra said, bishop f2 is going to be showing up next too. So
Power.
I think
Power plays.
If white escapes with just losing the exchange here, they might be happy.
Yeah.
They're probably saying, please take the exchange. Give me a moment to breathe.
What can white do? I'm like trying to find some sort of active move here. Probably knight to e4. Try to open some stuff up.
Knight to e4.
The only thing I could think of just to try to get pieces active and going, because it just feels like you're just on your back foot sitting in the back rank.
Right, yeah. I'm just wondering if knight to e4 loses material in some way. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's a good idea.
What do you think, Ezreev? Ezra Zeev. I keep on saying his name wrong. I actually heard Eric Rosen say his name correctly, so I had to make sure I say it right. Maybe. Oh, maybe not. Actually, knight e4 might fall into takes with the rook. Pawn takes to knight g4.
Oh. Yeah. What? White goes up the exchange and then is in trouble? Yeah. Okay, so he plays a more passive move.
Those blacks way too good here. I'm going to say like -2 or 3 for the computer at least.
Yeah.
-4.
Probably more since he doesn't have to take the exchange.
Yeah.
But it's also the type of position where like black is clearly better, probably just winning. But if black doesn't do it correctly, this position could turn on a dime. There's so much looseness in the position.
Knight to d5 now for black. Knight bd5, sorry.
Yeah, just got to watch out for some discoveries.
That is true. Yeah, I'm missing stuff.
I'm thinking maybe queen b3. Queen comes back. Aims for h3. I'm not sure, but I mean, the queen has lots of good squares to go to, so.
Oh, Eric Rosen says it wrong too.
All right, well, we'll leave this, see what black makes their decision of, and
you can super trap the rook now. Super trap that rook. Just bishop f2. Let's go.
Right, yeah. Trap
get
both.
In there.
Yep.
Don't do anything.
All right, we go back to this position where we've had some moves.
Oh, we had a first pawn tension, and then it was immediately released.
And black is up a pawn, and I like black's position now.
Same here. Yeah, pawn is hard to be sad about.
Yeah, and it's a good pawn. It's a passed pawn.
It is.
That's what he's up.
Oh, does this not drop a fork? Well, what was I missing?
To what?
Oh, knight takes knight. Never mind.
Ah.
I thought e4 was winning a piece, but then knight takes h4.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, says Yana's busted too. Uh-oh.
Well, we figured he was busted here.
Yeah, he's been busted since he played 1d6.
Yeah. Oh, so he doesn't even go for the piece here. He could have exchanged queens and taken the bishop, but he says he doesn't need to. He says, how do you stop checkmate?
You don't.
Okay, so that's looking good for white. And Xavier's still fighting here. Oh, okay, so black went ahead and took this exchange.
Oh, what is he doing? After knight takes it, other rook is trapped now.
Yeah.
Oh wait, then you have a knight move and the rook actually gets active. Ooh, but no, you hang. Whoa, no, you could do this. Bishop f2, if knight goes to f4,
Well,
you can actually sack the queen here.
He went to d2.
Oh, you went to d2, okay. But bishop f2, oh, you can still play it. Knight f4, you take the rook with the rook, sack your queen.
Well,
You get a lot of material.
It's not sacking the queen because the bishop's pinned.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So there's just no discovery.
Yeah.
Also,
Oh
if it went to f2, as Ezra said, the knight was covering that square, so you had to go to d2.
You're right, Ezreev. You're right. My tactics are terrible.
But
I played to London.
That's just a free rook.
Right?
Oh no, it's not. It's not a free rook because the knight actually stops the pin.
Takes. Wow. Oh, okay. He was able to wiggle free a bit.
He was.
Just a bit. Queen d5. Consideration.
Queen b3.
Queen b3.
I mean, if the rooks trade, he's just still up the exchange. So yes, white did manage to save the rook.
Yeah. Well, actually, what white's going to have out of the two rooks is the bishop pair.
Yes. He's got to find a way to improve the bishops, but definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have a choice. He kind of has to trade there. And he is resetting the board. He's got almost all his pieces back to the first rank.
Get ready for the next game.
Yep. He developed the bishop, so there we go. Looking for more discovery, so I like that. Every time black has to move their queen again, that's worth something.
And he's in time pressure again.
Yes.
Down to 2 minutes.
Understandable this game for sure.
Oh, yeah. The other ones, I was like, there was no reason. But this one, you had to take your time.
Well, in the last game, it was that crazy position.
Yeah.
So they were both under a minute. So I don't remember the first game. Maybe not as excusable the first game, but he's getting positions where he's getting the crazy positions he wants, but he's having to use the time, and he's getting them against people that also like crazy positions.
Lord. And this rook move is so beautifully strong. Oh my gosh. Pinning everything, nothing can move.
Now he just has to get a knight somewhere for a smother mate.
Yeah, nothing can actually move. Nothing. You gotta play a pawn.
He does have this discovery, but that's not scary at all.
Nope. Actually, wait, 1, 2. I was trying to find some cheeky way to sack the queen. I just want to look for queen sacks now. I don't know why. It feels so good.
For black?
Yeah, it just feels like it's almost possible. Yeah. I have a friend next to me saying, well, no, that would just be a Botez gambit.
Just a free queen, yep.
Yeah, here you go.
All right, so he's under
I
a
gotta
minute.
stop looking for that stuff.
This game's still going. He didn't get checkmated. Oh, it looks like Jan gave up his queen, though.
Had to. And this just...
Never mind.
Yeah,
he is getting checkmated. Oh, man, he didn't let it happen, but king back, knight c7 mate.
2. Oof. Yikes. Everyone got clobbered this game on the Florida team.
Well, you guys won this game. These two games both looking good for Alabama. So this is the game that's still going. Black is up the pawn. But they're both under a lot of time pressure.
Right. This is going to be a time scramble. Brian is extremely good in time scrambles, though.
Okay. I will say our player is less familiar to the online world.
Gotcha. Doing pretty well.
Yeah. I think with the 2-second increment and a time advantage, that's something. But
Rook G7, Rook G2 is crushing now. Oh, he doesn't go for it.
Might not need
No
it.
need. No need. Now Rook G2 is actually worse because it puts him to the back rank.
Yes.
Very accurate play. Okay, got a check-in. Got another check-in. Okay, gotta be a little careful. Might hang the rook. Oh, rook check, king. Oh, okay, never mind. If king went to G6, it's a hang of a rook.
Yeah?
You gotta still play accurate.
Wait, how do you...
defense.
If you play the rook check...
And how do you get out of perpetual? Oh, I think black had to play for perpetual there.
Or white did.
Oh, sorry, white had to play perpetual because it's still possible.
Well, now there's not the.
Oh, now he get the rook's not hanging. Yeah. Ooh. All right, there it is.
Yep,
Off the
that's
queenie
it.
square. Queenie would check. GG. Or hang on. Trading. Up the exchange again. Gotta watch out for the tricky knight though.
Knight doesn't have enough squares.
Nope.
That's going to be it there.
Yeah.
And
All right,
that's a
very
good game
well
there.
fought at the end.
Yes. So all we have left, the whole round is done. Okay? We'll update this game. Black lost on time. And the updated match score, that round was 2-2. And so our updated match score is Alabama 5, Florida 7. Which is about as close as you can get. So
Yeah, seriously.
let's see if these people have jumped right into the next round or not. Or if anyone's taken a little break. Okay, they just finished, so they're probably going to take a minute. See if we can bring up some games. They're going to take a minute. Okay. I don't have anyone asking me what the score is right now, but I don't see anyone started either, so I should probably check.
Can you repeat the standings one more time?
Yes, it is Florida 7 points, Alabama 5 points.
All right, thank you.
And,
Where are the postings? I think it's a Discord link. I'll find it.
oh, yeah, I have not been updating that.
Oh, okay. Someone's.
Yeah, I can update that after it finishes, but a bit too much to do while streaming.
Okay.
But it looks like some people have started. Yep, looks like everyone's starting.
Final game. Here we go. Last half hour.
All right. Boy, this went
Actually,
fast.
a lot of the games have been going down into time pressure, so
Yeah,
people
but-
are using their time.
But it feels like it's been, very, very fast. I feel like we just started the first round.
15-2 was a good choice
Okay, so they have moved
from
in.
the organizer.
Yeah. They've started. We've got a C4. Okay. White can give black an isolated pawn whenever they want in this type of structure. Pretty normal. This game already looks strange to me. Yeah,
All right,
okay.
we got Scotch.
Scotch Gambit. And apparently they're both familiar with the theory.
I'm not at all. Like, what just happened here? Okay, so bishop pair against knight pair in a somewhat close position. Okay.
Yeah, these pawns coming down the board.
What does white do here, though? I mean, okay. All right, so playing against isolated pawns, I prefer your player's position a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
But the nice square bishop can get something going. Might be some trouble.
Yeah, black's already trying to trade. If black's trying to trade queens, though, this pawn structure seems to favor white, even though black's up the pawn.
It's going to come down to the wire for this last game.
Yeah. Okay, and the last game that started, we have a... They're also playing something weird. D4 game, the bishop's under attack, knight's under attack.
Everyone decided to go all out for the final game here.
Yep.
Play weird stuff.
Yeah, now both... Oh, I guess this pawn is actually pinned. Okay. So this is kind of weird. Okay, so the bishop went back.
Final round is all boards playing in order, correct?
Correct,
So
yes.
first against first?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
so here we've got our first board. I'm not sure why they haven't started, though.
Jan is taking every second of his 10 minutes.
Well, he played his first move. Oh, okay, there we go.
Oh, he
Now
did.
they started. Yep.
Oh, there we are.
And so it must have been my player that wasn't at the board. But they were the last ones to start.
Okay, take an extra second.
Yeah. Okay, here they're continuing. They're talking knight a4. I'm not sure which game he's talking about.
Not sure
We're going
which game either.
right. We're going so fast. We'll get to all the games again though. So
Yeah.
But I wanted to make sure everyone saw the openings at least.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we've got a position where black is down the pawn, but white has some weaknesses. So black has the isolated pawn, white has double isolated c-pawns. This is the type of position that I know our player likes. He likes to play for activity. I don't want to say just tactical, but really like he's comfortable with the compensation just being like initiative, not even like getting any material back. So we'll see whether he takes that pawn, get that open b file or not.
Like I don't really know how to describe the position, other than I'm actually at a loss for words. I'm kind of getting tired. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. It's been a lot.
I wonder if Discover Attack is going to be useful here.
Yeah. I think black has the big question of whether or not to give up this b pawn.
Yeah, but the problem is it comes with an attack on the knight as well.
Right, and it further opens this diagonal. So
queen b3, I wonder if it's more of a provocative move.
Right, I'm not sure. Maybe even just rook b8. But I don't think this pawn push is going to mean much yet. Even if this pawn pushes and pushes c4, that might be okay for white. But we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, this game, this was our Scotch Gambit, so we have white doubling on the d file and black playing bishop g4, saying, nope, you're not allowed to double on the d file. And white concedes, moves off the d file, so that seems like a small victory for black, because now maybe black can even try and take the d file at some point. And even though white has these strong pawns, I'm not sure whether there's a real attack here.
I think it might be consolidating with bishop d4.
Mm-hmm.
Might be a plan here for white. Actually, bishop d4 just falls into c5, actually.
Right, yeah, you're going to run into c5 in a lot of positions.
I wonder if that would be beneficial to white to lock in the bishop on that diagonal. It's kind of weird. I don't know. I can't figure out a good plan here.
Right, yeah. And yeah, because the other question is, does black feel comfortable enough to commit to kingside castling at any point?
Right.
Okay, white apparently was not worried about this position nearly as much as we were. He was definitely ready for that.
See us be careful of some tactical shots here with rook to d3, forcing the bishops to come off and then fixing the pawn structure. But then,
yeah, in these Scotch positions though, white's always happy to get rid of the dark square bishops.
oh, I never knew that.
Yeah, it's usually black's best attacking piece, and so usually the bishop trade is perfectly fine for white. Unless it comes with some other tactical compensation. But usually the trade of bishops is considered a success for white.
I'm just looking at in a positional static standpoint, once the bishops come off, and if white is forced to take black's bishop, it fixes the pawns.
Yes, that is true.
Because it's terrible right now. So that's why I'm wondering, that's why I kind of maybe think, oh, wow.
Yep. He goes for it.
Bishop. So maybe bishop what? What do we have to do here? All this.
Well, the c pawn's also a problem.
Yeah.
Which I didn't notice before.
Thanks.
So that looks like a real problem. All right, well, we'll let him try and think his way out of that. He might go into a bit of a think here. This seems like a good time to take a moment. So we'll shift over here to board 4, where White just played the move knight to f6. What? Did we take a knight?
Low. Probably. Yep, captures.
Okay, I was going to say.
It's like, just plays the f6. Here you
Yep.
go. It's been a long night.
So we fast forward here, and if White can get castled, they've got a nice 3-on-2 majority on the queen side. Yeah, White definitely was worse in that Scotch game after that move. Here, it all comes down to, can the White king get safe?
Black, stop it.
Right.
I don't think Black can really stop it.
No, I was looking at some rook to d1 ideas, but they don't quite work.
Nah, not quite. I was hoping that would work too. Darn. I guess a simple development move, rook to double up. Oh, actually, might be able to try rook instead of doubling up, go to e8.
E8 or to C8.
E8 might be interesting.
C8, as suggested in the chat, going after this pawn because White cannot play b3 due to the rook d1 tactic.
That is correct. Oh, rook d1, king. Oh, yeah. Ouch. Rook c8 looks like it's the move.
Yeah, rook c8, maybe you have to give up the pawn, but that doesn't seem great.
No. Actually, you're probably giving up more than a pawn almost. Ouch.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta be careful how you recapture though. If you take with the D rook, then you trade queens. So you gotta take with the C rook. Still looks good for Black.
Yep, I agree. I think Black has a fine position here. Or definitely at least has the initiative, has the pressure for sure. So that game, Black has the edge. Okay, and he says, I don't want you to have your good bishop. So if White castles...
Hammer.
Yep, just castles. That makes sense.
You can still play the rook move, but it doesn't come with as much sting.
Right, well, now White can play b3.
B3, right.
Okay, so he doubles up, looking for rook to d3.
Straightforward chess.
Well, it looks like rook to d3 is a problem for Alabama on both of the last two boards. Oh, White resigned actually here. This game's over.
Oh, wow. Holy moly.
So we had the rook came down, the knight came back, and the rook ended up pinned. And that was it. Yeah. And no way to get the material back. Wow. Nicely done by your player. So we'll go ahead and update that match score, which means Alabama has to win all of the remaining games in order to draw the match.
Wait, what happens after rook e1?
The rook's already...
Rook takes pawn?
Well, rook's already under attack twice and not defending at all.
I'm a dummy.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's the trick is, defending the rook isn't even good enough.
Wow, I'm getting really, really tired. Sorry.
No, that's fine. So that's it for that game. This game, we said Black looks a little bit better, but not over. Back on board one, we have a lot of tension in this position.
Yep. Your team needs to get 3 wins, I believe, to tie it up.
Right, correct.
Yeah.
So this position, the white queen is active, but also almost trapped. So, like, if Black tries the queen trade, I think Black might have a slightly better position because the A-file. But
I can agree with that.
I'm really unsure of what any of these piece trade means. So we've got tension here. We've got tension here. And I think a lot of it is going to depend where the two rooks end up. Even though the rooks don't have any tension right now, where those two rooks end up, what files they control is probably going to be the most important factor. And so all these piece trades are going to determine which files are fully open or half open. So that's what they've got to decide right now.
I think.
Rook A1.
5. Okay. I have a friend here who thinks maybe white should play c5.
That white should play c5. Okay. Yeah, definitely looks like it could make sense.
After maybe knight takes... Actually, bishop takes knight on e4.
Here?
Okay, removing one of the defenders. After bishop or pawn takes, then I think we win a pawn that way. Do we not?
Not sure it's a pawn you want to win, though.
Not sure either, no. So actually c5 could be an opportunity.
Yep. Or just trying to double on the a file. There's just a lot of decisions to be made here. White's got to decide if to trade any pieces, if to play c5, if to double on the a file.
And he's taking a lot of time here too, which makes sense.
Yeah, because this decision is going to really shape the rest of the game right now. White's move right here really is the choice of direction. All right, we'll let him think. Looking back at this second board, we have, black got their pawn back. Let's scroll back to see. We saw, okay, so after the knight came in, black did go ahead and grab that pawn back.
Offered the pawn back for activity.
Right, we've got this position. Go ahead.
I kind of prefer black a little bit.
Yeah,
but
black,
it's hard to...
Black has the isolated pawn, but
Yep.
black has some nice minor pieces. And this knight has good squares to go to.
Probably a very equal position. But I'm surprised Brian used so much time already.
Yeah, I'm not sure where the time happened, but that is up by 4 minutes. But still 6 minutes on the clock. I'm not sure how significant that is.
Says, please fix my pawns.
Yes, exactly.
He's probably going to say, no, knight c6, exclam.
Well, he doesn't want to trade queens, I don't think. All right, if we go here, we're going to lose our knight.
Yep. So this forces a queen trade, actually.
Well,
nice
or a
move.
knight trade.
Or a knight trade. Yeah.
So now black has the decision of which pieces to trade, if any. Well, I guess there's gonna be some trade. So that makes me think that white has the edge here, with pieces coming off the board. So we have 3 games left, and I feel like Florida has an edge, perhaps in all 3. Okay, here we go in this position. This looks very comfortable for black. That rook is just moving around.
Finally. I mean, he missed an opportunity earlier with rook c8, but Xavier's lost all of his games so far. It'd be nice if he can get at least one.
Well, it's also true for our player. So.
Well, fair enough.
But I mean, they're playing board 4, which is not an easy task.
Yeah. Actually, my board 1 wants to commend your board 4, saying that he's very strong.
Oh, well, I will pass the message on, because I think while he knows this is good experience, it is a bit of a beatdown.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like he's put up better fights than last week, so he should be very happy.
Awesome. Great to hear. I'm always happy to hear that people are improving.
Right, yeah. And I think as a team, they should all be pretty pleased with their performance overall, especially if we could grab another point or 2 here, make it a nice last round.
Definitely. What do we got?
Oh, okay.
Okay. So he made the decision.
He made the decision to play c5.
He did it. All right.
And black took right away.
Ooh, I'm surprised the second capture happens, but I guess he had to.
And why doesn't? Oh, I guess now white has to decide which. Oh wait, he can't. He can take with the knight.
He's probably deciding: do I allow the bishop trade or not?
Well,
I wouldn't.
Yeah, because it's kind of interesting because c5 opens the position a bit, and it is black that has the bishop pair.
Right. So definitely, it feels like queen just seems more secure to play.
Unless there's just like a tactic here.
Probably. I'm probably missing something big. Oh, wow. Okay. D6 it is. The idea here. Getting a fork on the bishop and queen.
So bishop takes knight.
Not sure. It's very complicated now. I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like black has put white in a lot of positions where they had to make a decision. Even if white's position was good, they had to make a big decision, several moves in a row here.
Right.
And I mean,
I wonder if this is going to be the first time black will be in the think tank.
Right, yeah. Technically, black's up a pawn, but this position doesn't feel like that's meaningful yet unless all this tension resolves itself. And he just goes ahead and takes it. Says, okay, I'm up a pawn.
Okay.
Hard to argue with that. This is a very nice knight. The question is, does this lead anywhere?
Oh, there's also a bishop check in there. I didn't see that. Bishop c4.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, bishop c4.
After knight takes queen, moves, and then bishop c4 check. And the queen would be unable actually to go to e6 at all because the knight would be protecting the bishop.
Right, and there might be problems on f7. But after knight takes, can the queen can't go?
No, because the bishop pin. Yeah. Huh.
And in the chat they're saying knight takes f6, rook takes f6, bishop c4, and then queen e7.
Guys, come on, this is PG, guys. Don't mention those types of moves.
So yeah, this is but black played this so quickly. You know, I wonder if there's some resource that black sees that we aren't. I'm not sure. Because I feel like black played this series of moves pretty quickly. Yeah, maybe
what?
What about knight takes and queen to d7? And if bishop c4, bishop e6.
That might be the plan.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
Your variation there looks nice for black.
Using that knight. He said, oh, that does lose the queen. Right, the bishop cannot be on e6 and guard the queen. Okay, so maybe the queen goes somewhere else. Maybe we just...
Wow, yeah, woo. Oh, wow, so there's actually a lot of... That's probably what Jan is sitting in this moment for. Like, does all this actually work?
Right. Although at some point...
If he plays it right, he might actually win the f5 pawn.
Or just win the game. I mean, there's so many tactics here on these light squares.
Oof, big moment. Big moment. What's going on? Oh, looks like Brian Tillis' game is playing quickly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's down to 3 minutes also. And it looks like they ended up trading knights. So this is where we left it. And black grabbed the pawn and then offered the queen trade.
Get the pawn back with rook takes on a7. He's just deciding when to take.
Right. But the c pawn could also be an issue.
I kind of prefer black here.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's any trouble for either player. I think if all these queenside pawns trade, it might end up fizzling out. Except for black's up 4 minutes. So,
how about the Xavier game?
In the Xavier game,
over. It's done.
Oh, Sam
GG.
won. He just got back rank mated.
That is a yikes a doodle of a move.
Whoa, that is not how we saw that turning out. Yeah, I feel like Xavier came very close to winning all 4 of his games. So kind of an unfortunate series of games for him.
Yeah, so I probably has to work on closing out winning positions.
Yeah,
Except the third game. The third game he was just completely swamped.
Yeah. But overall, I mean, he easily could have gone 3-1. Yeah, this last game definitely a swindle by Sam. Sam's first win, and I guess we'll update the score because apparently this match is not over because we have 2 games left, and they're still going. And Jan made his decision.
Did go for this idea of knight takes, bishop check.
Queen, bishop check, king h8.
And now what do? Do we take the pawn? Okay. So he got his pawn back with a lot of pressure, too.
Yes.
So...
And it seems like...
Uh-huh.
Well, I was going to say, it seems like, both teams have some strong Scholastic players. Florida has Xavier, and then Alabama has both Isaac and Sam. So it's nice to see that. I think a lot of the teams really have an average older team, just because a lot of teams are fielding such a strong, close to 2,200 rating. So it's nice to see some Scholastic players getting in there.
Actually, my boy one was mentioning that in the Zoom call. Is like, are we playing a Scholastic tournament because it's all kids?
I saw that, but then last week it seemed completely different. So I wonder if it's just the day. So
yeah, it could be the state too. Or some states just have stronger Scholastic players than, or just wanted to give them experience.
Right, and whoever's available. Okay, so Jan is under a minute here. So
it is definitely an important moment. Still, it's complicated. If he trades down, I mean, he should be okay with the draw.
Yes, but this is not a drawish position at the moment.
Trades, queen or knight takes. I can't take. Well,
I'm not even sure he wants a drawish position because if there's still a lot of play to the draw, might be hard to.
Yeah, the time trouble.
Minute. Yeah.
So he takes back with the knight. Back in the queen.
And I don't see it for white here. I don't see the tactics. I see white still has chances, but black has to be happy with this transition because it looked a lot scarier a few moves ago.
Nice CD4 seems pretty good here too.
Knight E D4?
A knight CD4 for white, but then white already made the
moves. Oh, okay, yeah. To D5.
E4.
E4. Okay.
There you go. Yeah. There you go.
Well, then
his move was so good.
Well, weren't they going to just lose their queen?
Oh my gosh, yeah. The queen's hanging.
Yeah, the queen's getting chased right now.
The queen's hanging. Oh yeah. This is why I'm not playing. I'd be dead by round 4. Just nope.
And he's down to 5 seconds here. Did this game finish? No, okay, that game still has a little more time. We'll stay on this for the moment. I don't know which game to look exciting. At. 2, 1. Does he know he's low on time?
Probably does, but he's got to.
That's a free knight.
Do with it.
Right? That looks like a free knight to me.
Does look like a free knight. Missed it. Okay, all right. So you got some tactics still.
Queen back.
But I think the queen goes to E. Yep.
And then knight can even come back. And black has plenty of time. Black can spend all the time they want here. Queen B6 is suggested in the chat. Oh, he says, I'm just going to move it. Ooh. Oh.
Wow.
Bishop
Force
B6?
trades. Bishop B6 seems to be strongest.
Well, is this pin real? I guess he could always go queen B6 and then move the knight. Yeah. Just get out of that pin completely. And that's it. White resigned.
The smothered mate.
Yep. And this is the last game, and it is 7-8 now. So,
all right, so this is a big one for Brian to try and win or draw.
Yeah, a draw will do it. And this is a position where Brian's under a minute. It's obviously a relatively equal position. And I think black just has the wrong colored bishop to create a lot of stuff. Because we can't get a good attack on f2 right here.
Definitely drawish, but the time trouble is going to be a factor.
Yes. Yeah, I guess it's going to really come down to, can black create threats that force white to slow down? Because if black can't create any threats, then the time pressure doesn't matter.
Correct. And you can just operate on the dark squares all day.
Right. But the back rank is always an issue. And that's exactly what he's looking for here. Go. And white's going to try and get out of that super quickly.
Yep. All right, these are definitely masters playing each other now.
Well, Isaac's playing like a master. He's not there yet, but it's just a matter of time.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
He's rated 2012, I believe.
Hey. Yeah, up and coming. Young?
High school.
All right, cool. Best of luck to him in his future endeavors.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a lot of success. And he's playing a lot locally, so that's good to see. One of the nice things about Alabama, which is not true for every state, is that a lot of the top players are very active over the board, which is nice. I know when I lived in Louisiana, that wasn't necessarily the case.
And Brian came from, I don't want to get this wrong on stream. I want to say, I don't remember. Oh my gosh, he's going to hurt me for not remembering. Anyway, he comes from a state where strong active players are not a thing, so he had to travel a lot.
Right.
Find them.
And I'm impressed how strong of teams the states were able to come up with for this event. Without a prize fund or anything like that, I was a little worried that teams weren't going to field strong teams.
It was nice. I mean, you get to do it from the comfort of your own home. There's no buy-in entry fee.
Right.
You know, it's not the true rating. It's the online rating. So it's a lot of pressure comes off.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So black wants to keep those bishops on the board to try and continue creating winning chances. There's just not a lot here, unfortunately.
Well, the king position is pretty bad.
It is, but that bishop is holding everything together.
Sit and wait all day.
It'll be interesting to see how far black pushes this. If black knows they need the win, they might push it to a loss to go for that win.
I can definitely feel Brian sitting on the edge of his seat right now. With that time pressure.
Yeah, it's down. I mean, he's cut the time in half. It's down to 18 seconds.
So maybe it's going to reverse and the time pressure will affect black negatively.
Right.
Let's hope not, because this definitely should just be a book draw.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the black king is going to walk up the board and create... That looks to be what he's trying to do. To try and come up the board and create some additional threats.
F5 seems to be natural, but then bishop comes in.
Yeah, he stays in the dark square. Yeah, a king F5 and you had bishop to H3.
Correct. Held by the rook, but still, I mean, trades, it helps. Okay. I mean, black got a really strong king out of nowhere, so...
He did, yep.
Or out of nothing. That pawn is doing a great job holding some good squares.
Okay, so maybe he's going to try and walk up the king this way now?
Probably. Actually, okay, I like this decision.
Okay, maybe bishop here. Yep.
Threatening mate in one. Got to block again, but...
Push the pawn now?
Push...
Yeah.
But you have the G3 square now.
Right, he does have the G3 square.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's much here.
King G5.
Maybe King E5.
King E5, King E5, King G5.
Yeah, trying to get up there.
Only other chance.
Now time is even.
He's going for it.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to manufacture something when there isn't anything there, which is tough.
But you have to play accurate still in defense.
Right.
you mess up, it's gonna be over.
But now black is down to
okay,
5
now
seconds.
time trouble.
Oh, is that pawn in trouble? Nope.
Okay, this is definitely getting down to the wire. He's forcing a draw with this.
Can the king... I guess, yeah, just going to trade. Yeah.
All right, black wants... Okay,
That's
black
it.
goes for the draw.
That's it. That's tough.
Ooh, that was down to the wire last game there.
Whew. That was a lot of good games. That was a great match. I mean, that was exciting from the first game to the last one.
Yeah, that's 8.5, 7.5?
8.5, 7.5 is what I got.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very close. Very close.
Yeah, very nice. Well played to all your players. And,
you too, guys. Seriously. And I'm glad that you guys were able to bounce back from your last week.
Yeah. Now I think people are going to... Well, it was funny. The 0 and 16 motivated a lot of players to say they could play the rest of the season.
Sweet.
They're like, wait.
We can't have our state look like this.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And now the rest of the players are going to be like, oh, wait, we actually have a chance to win some matches. So that was fun. That was great. I'm excited to meet up with my players and see what they thought of their games. So see if they were happy with how they played. I think they all should be happy.
All right, Michael.
All right, well, thanks for joining me. Yep.
Have a wonderful night. Thank you for having me, and hopefully we can do this again sometime.
All right, and good luck to your team the rest of the season.
You too. Thank you. Bye.